Today is December 1st, 2009. There's a slight breeze with the temperature in the mid-40s. And I'm going to show you the garden as it looks today. First, I want to start with a Washingtonia robusta. You can see this palm is getting a really big trunk on it now. I planted it back in 2005 as a 5-gallon specimen, and it really has grown since then. This palm starts with no fronds in the spring. Every fall I cut off all the fronds and cover it with the tarp for the winter. I decided to deboot this palm this summer, and I used a box cutter and cut away some of the old fronds here from the trunk, and it looks a lot more tropical now. I like the looks of this palm, and the growth rate is just unbelievable. It grows about 2 feet of trunk every year, so before long I won't know what to do in terms of protection. Below it you see a needle palm, and this needle palm has been growing in this pot for several years now. It's getting some good size to it. Let's take a look at the trunk on this. Pretty good sized trunk with some really large needles. You can see the needles here, and you surely don't want to get stuck by those. I might plant it in the ground someday if I can find a good spot for it. Here we have a Trachycarpus princeps, and I grew this palm from seed. I believe I started the seed back in 2006, and this palm has a nice blue color to the fronds, and the underside of the fronds have a nice white appearance. That's really why people grow this palm. It's still considered pretty rare now. Not too many people are growing it, but I couldn't resist an offer from some seeds that I got a few years ago. Really nice palm. We'll see how it does over the winter. I planted it this spring. Beautiful palm. I have 2 more of these over in the yard over here. Well, let me show you some bananas now. Here is my Musa Bazoo patch, and this patch started back in 2003 with just 4-inch tissue cultured seedlings, and you can really see all the trunks on it now. This palm is taken off. It loves our summer heat and really loves this location where it gets lots of moisture and full sun. I'd estimate that this clump is over 18, probably about 20 feet now. It's just an amazing, amazing banana that comes back every year with hardly any protection, just maybe a few leaves thrown down for mulch. Underneath these bananas you see some windmill palms. I grew these from seed, and they're getting kind of choked out now from the bananas, but they seem to be thriving anyway. I grew these from seed that I got from my friend Joe in Canada, and you can see that it's getting a pretty good trunk now on it. There's a look at the trunk. Kind of stretching for light a little bit, so I might need to move these, but it adds to the jungle appearance of my backyard. Here we have some little elephant ears that got a little frost a few days ago, but they're still looking pretty good here for December. Now let's move on and look at my favorite palms. These are my Waggies, and just look at the leaf structure on these palms. It's just amazing. Nice and stiff leaves. The wind doesn't bother these at all. There's a little white outline to the leaves on these palms. These are my favorite palms indeed here, and these have been in the ground now 2 years, and the trunk has really started to grow upwards, and these are going to be a beautiful, beautiful specimen here as they mature in age. I really love these palms, as you can tell. So I have 3 of these palms. They're all about the same size. And again, no bends in the leaves. These are really good Trachycarpus palms. I have some larger Trachycarpus over here. These are my yellow bananas. They did get frosted pretty good. But I had a bloom here. Let me show you the bloom that I got this year. Right here, the bloom is really beautiful. Nice yellow color. And these are really easy to grow. Require little care, and you get rewarded with yellow blooms that bloom all season. These are just great. Alright, now let me show you these larger windmill palms. This windmill palm here is a male. It has about 6 feet of trunk right now. It has really grown. I planted it as a 5-gallon plant back in 2003, and you can see the crown on it. The leaves like to droop on this palm, which is okay with me. I have the stiff leaf Waggies, but I like the droopy leaves as well. They add to the tropical appearance of my garden. Below this palm, I decided to plant some small Waggies that I started from seed. And these aren't quite as specimen plants as the other ones I showed you, but these are beautiful nonetheless. These have little trunks on them right now, and they'll start to fill in this area as they age. Kind of an underplanting theme going on here, where you have the big windmill palm and then some baby palms underneath it. Should add to the jungle appearance over the years. This is another Waggie that I got several years ago and decided to plant it here in the ground. This palm has a different leaf shape. It's not as cut deeply as the other palms. The fronds here have a small cut and more of a wide base. These leaves don't bend in the wind either, so that makes it a nice Waggie, but a little bit different in appearance compared to my other Waggies. Here we have more Waggies down below here, and another large windmill palm. This one is slower growing, but the leaves are stiffer than the other one I showed you. This one is a female that got its pollen from the male that I showed you a minute ago. And we have a lot of seed here this year. It's the first year that it bloomed, so I was quite happy that it was a female so I could get some seeds off of this palm. With the slower growth rate, I thought it might have been a female, and I was right. Just beautiful seeds here that are nice and plump and are ripe now. I'm going into winter, and this is just a great palm. I love windmill palms. They add so much, and they're low maintenance here for Arkansas. You really don't have to protect them during the winter. They can handle down, these handle down to 12 degrees the last couple winters with no damage at all, and no protection at all either. They're just great. What more can you ask for? Up here we have a small needle palm. This needle palm bloomed this year and produced some seeds. Maybe we can find some seeds here. Yeah, here are some seeds that it produced. We'll just let the seeds, leave the seeds alone, and let them germinate near the mother plant. And finally, I want to show you the Butea capitata palm, or the Pindo palm. It's gotten a nice trunk on it. I planted this as a 5-gallon plant, and it has really grown. I didn't think it would live this long, but I planted it back in 2003, and it gets a little winter damage each winter, but it's well worth it. and I protect it with some floodlights for a little bit of warmth on the cold nights. We get down to maybe 12 degrees. But that's a look at the garden. Have a lot of different palms here. My favorite are the Waggies, but this is my small jungle. I don't have a big backyard, so I really can't plant too much, but I try to stick a lot of different plants in here for a nice contrast in the garden.